What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Friday, and you know what that means. The Storytime live stream with Stock Market Steve starts tonight. Look forward to seeing everybody there. Get all laugh on after all these depressive stories I do. And I also got another announcement. It pleases me that the channel, the DRC family, continues to grow. We just hit 94,000 subscribers. And the road to 100K continues. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I honestly do, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting me and, you know, watching my material. Speaking of material, I've been covering extensively this Antioch school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Shout out Nashville. And the more I talk about it and the more I look at it, and more, as more news comes out, the more disturbing and gut-wrenching this is. We have serious problems in this country. Some are small, some are big. But the mindset you see in a lot of younger people now that are going through identity crisis, and hell, we all went through identity crisis when we were younger. I'm no different than anybody else. You know, where we're going to be in life, who we want to be, so on and so forth. Hell, a lot of us as adults are still in identity crisis. Let's keep it real. But this guy, this young man right here, 17-year-old shooter of Antioch High School, what's his name? Mr. Henderson, Solomon Henderson. This right here is as strange as it gets. I covered a story a while ago, I think a year and a half ago, about a Spanish kid in Texas that was trying to connect with these white supremacist groups and these hate groups and stuff like that, and he went out and did something crazy. This right here is no different. In fact, this is worse to me, because that guy was a wannabe. This guy right here was full-fledged trying to be a part of something that makes no damn sense. I'm serious, guys. I'm about to show you a series of videos that have been coming out as of late, and this is very distressing to see. As a parent, you should be nosy in your children's lives, especially when you pay for all of their phone bills and things like that. We have to be nosy. You know what I'm saying? You see a child straying off the path, give them your undivided attention. Now, I know as parents, we have our own lives to live, and we gotta, you know, we caught up in the rat race, but there are certain things that you got to pay attention to. And I think some things were ignored in the case of this young man, Solomon, what's his name? Henderson. Take a look at this and we'll come back and talk about it.
We have a black kid expressing white supremacist ideas. Have you ever seen that before?
This wouldn't be the first time that a person of color shackled themselves to a white supremacist movement. In my experience as a researcher, this is one of the most extreme cases I've ever seen of it.
Jerry Tolt's job is to track hate and extremism, a skill set that in the hours after the Antioch High School shooting came into play, thanks to a 51-page manifesto left behind by shooter Solomon Henderson, seen here wearing a T-shirt for a neo-Nazi band. The manifesto, with the title "We Cannot Show on Television," declared, "The West has fallen. Billions must die. Accelerate, accelerate, accelerate." Words that Holt says represent the worst of the world of hate.
These are communities that encourage not only mass murder and genocidal fantasies, but also destruction of things like critical infrastructure.
So they're talking about bringing about the collapse of society and then creating their own utopia?
Essentially, yeah. They do not believe that democratic government will ever get them the kind of ethnic superiority or ethnic dominance that they want.
Included in the manifesto are some anti-Semitic claims made by the Goyim Defense League, the group we confronted last summer when they created a scene on the streets of Nashville. Holt cautions against reading too much into that, at least for now.
One way or another, this shooter came across this flyer and recognized it as something he thought might be great to include in his manifesto.
Then there are the manifesto's claims that Henderson was radicalized by conservative commentator Candace Owens, which Holt says appears to have been lifted from a notorious mass murderer's own manifesto.
The line about Candace Owens radicalizing him is very lightly modified copy and paste from the Christchurch Manifesto.
Holt says all this suggests that Henderson may have ventured into some of the darkest parts of the internet where hate and murder are glorified, only to have lost his way out.
And still unanswered tonight, who, if anyone, knew about Henderson's plan? The manifesto does mention someone helping him write part of it. And Jared Holt, you just saw there, says extremists in online communities identified him as the shooter before police did. Again, as we've mentioned, the teen shooter left behind a lengthy diary, giving even more insight into his thoughts leading up to the shooting. Now News Channel 5 investigates reporter Levi Ismail went through page by page and tells us what he found.
It's the first 4 words of a more than 288-page diary, but it sets the tone for everything you read after. Those words, quote, "I'm burning with hate." From October of last year to the day he carried out his attack at Antioch High School, 17-year-old Solomon Henderson filled these pages with graphic images, Nazi symbols, and plans to carry out an attack. Henderson obsessed over mass killers around the world and declared that he, too, intends on doing something to kill at least 10 people. But how does this young man go from active high school student to active shooter?
If we just look at it broadly, a lot of people that have carried out these sort of acts have felt othered.
Lauren Ruth Martin is a licensed therapist with novel counseling in Franklin.
We could go, scientifically for a minute. Our brains aren't fully developed when we're 17. Our brains are actually on fire. And so not a lot makes sense, and decision-making is altered.
Martin says this is not about trying to humanize someone responsible for committing a horrible crime, but understanding how we got here. Henderson, by his own admission, fought with his parents and even wrote in his diary about killing them at one point. Struggles with his self-image and resentment over minorities were only amplified once Henderson found community and a sense of belonging with white supremacy groups online.
It's a perfect storm. In online communities, you can also access those in a private way. You get to be the person that you want to project out there online without anybody truly questioning it.
Henderson often wrote things like, quote, "I wish I was white. Self-hating N-word award goes to," with a picture of his eyes.
If we just focus on that idea of being uncomfortable in your own skin, can you imagine how helpless that must feel? Because you literally can't change that.
Another photo appeared to show Henderson in whiteface, but all while this self-hatred is happening, Henderson continues to plan out his attack. He details instructions on how to make bombs and even bought supplies. He then wrote that it made sense to attack during lunch and specifically made note of days when he expected there to be more people of color around. Just days before the shooting, Henderson began to spiral. He wrote, "I'm slipping," and talked about being nervous, scared, and excited at the same time. Henderson posted a final selfie with the caption, "4 hours to go."
I think it's scary for us to acknowledge that given the perfect storm of circumstances, we don't know what we would resort to if we were in that much pain and we had access to such things like guns.
Martin says while there are many nuances on how Henderson became radicalized enough to kill, this is a man who found connection in hate, and that should never be ignored.
We're not humanizing him, but what we're using is this information to better inform how we can see people, how we can help people, how we can make our communities safer.
With News Channel 5 Investigates, I'm Levi Ismail.
Thanks, Levi. So sad and disturbing. Levi also found that at one point, Henderson wrote that police were at his home, found a gun, one he says his dad took the blame for. It's not clear when or if this happened, but we do know Metro Nashville police are investigating the writings and others to learn what they can about the shooter and his motivations. Now, also tonight, we have learned the shooter did live stream the attack using the site Kick. Platform leaders confirmed this and say violence has no place on their platform. They add Henderson's account was banned, the video removed, and they are actively working with law enforcement to help them with their investigation.
All right, guys, that's the story of this guy. The sad story at that. 17-year-old Solomon Henderson. This guy killed 16-year-old Jocelyn Correa Escalante, may she rest in peace. And his goal was to kill at least 10 people of color, all because he did not like himself, which he said in his manifesto. He hated that he was black. That's heartbreaking. There's so many people out here, like I said, with identity crisis that don't like how God made them. But you know, everybody has value. And everybody should love themselves and respect others. What's hurtful about this is you heard what the announcer said. Did anybody see the signs? I said that yesterday. Because I'm going to tell you something. The way he was acting, as a father, I would have been all over that, because you got to think about this. This is what makes me it goes on in my head about this. If Solomon didn't like black folk, and didn't like this, and he was filling his head up. Of course, at 17, he's still impressionable. He was filling his head up with a lot of this hateful jargon from these hate groups and things he's perceiving. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be like, as a father, you would have seen that. You would have seen his reflection of how he treated people in the house. I don't see that boy at 17 years old with the bullshit that he was looking at, so smooth and concealing his acting out with people in that house. Y'all agree or disagree? Come on. Come on. I'm sure he had symptoms. Said a gun was found. Police came over there. It was a gun one time. The dad said the gun was his. That right there would have put my radars up. What you doing with a gun? He's sitting up there with a ROTC uniform on, where it teaches discipline and responsibility and stuff like that. That had no effect on him. And he still wanted to do what he did. He had a picture that said white power with a cartoon black man holding the thing. And then he's looking at the thing like, yeah, this is me. This is what I want to be. They see all them fucktard ass hate groups out here. And all of them throwing the swastika, showing the swastika, throwing the hand up like they the Third Reich, and don't none of them look like Hitler's idea, the master race. You ever notice that shit? A lot of them motherfuckers ain't even German. They running around here fucking acting like they German. Can't even speak a lick of it. Dumbasses. But that's neither here nor there. Now that you've seen that this type of stuff is happening, and there are people out here that revel in the accomplishments of other kids that killed kids as school shooters, what are you going to do about it? What is the government going to do about it? What is legislature going to do about it? These hate groups still exist. And they grow. So, I mean, people are going into that. But as a kid, a black kid doing this, I'm not even sure. Me and Tony was talking about this last night. Is this the first national known black school shooter? I think he is. I can't remember. Maybe it's off the top of my head. I can't remember if another black kid has ever done this. And that's scary. You know what I'm saying? We got enough violence out here and all this stuff. And these kids are looking and following the footsteps in the oblivion of other teenagers that have been known in history to destroy lives in schools because they had dissatisfaction. You always see it. It's like an identity crisis in these children. Don't know where they fit in. It's a certain type of MO they fit. Upset, filled with hate, angry at everybody except themselves. They go out here almost like terrorists. Know they not coming back and damn sure don't want to go to jail, but they do some jail-worthy shit. So what they do is they go out on a suicide mission, try to take as many people as they can out, and then turn the gun on themselves. Said he was talking about killing his parents before. Where'd we hear that? We just recently heard that in a situation with the New Orleans guy that ran the damn truck down the street and injured all those people. So that's the thing, man. It's easy to project outward your problems, but not reflect inward of how you got to where you feel as though it's everybody else's fault but yours. Everybody at any given time has a chance for self-reflection, whether you're a male or female. But people feel they're hit up with a whole bunch of crazy stuff that send them to the path of their own destruction, and they don't even see it coming. And for some odd reason, those around them don't even see it. Didn't this boy have friends? Who was his best friend? Did he notice anything? You got a mother and father in the house. You don't see him. You just charge that as acting out. I want you to really think about that. That's why I tell you as parents, man, you know what I'm saying? And we all make mistakes as parents. I'm no different than anybody else out here, man. If you care about your kids and the preservation of your own legacy, you need to be nosy. You need to be nosy. Get in their business. If I pay your phone bill, you know what I'm saying? And you living under my roof, you go under my rules. Man, this is crazy. You cannot tell me. Listen, when I seen his pictures, how he looked, I'm like, yo, something look off with him. Look at his eyes. Something look off with him. Don't look happy about the approach adulthood. Don't look happy about that. I'm done. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. He was going to kill 10 people of color. I can't get out. I can't get past that. You want to join a group or a hate group where you one of the type of people they hate. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.